today is day 5. We're talking about text to column, trim, and remove duplicate. So we are doing these 3, right? These 3. So let's start with text to column, right? We're doing these first 3 today, and we'll continue with the rest. So how do you do text to column? So text to column, assuming you get a data that's like this, right? It's a data, but it's not clean. The reason why it's not clean is because everything is lumped in between one cell. Both the first name, the last name, the age, the gender, I'm assuming that's the salary, right? Everything lumped into one cell, right? And you have about 31 of this, right? Just imagine you have about imagine you have like 40, I say like 4,000 or 5,000 of this, right? All lumped together, right? Will you start doing it one by one and start saying, oh my God, Andrew is his first name, Cooper is his second name, this is gender, this is age, this is, it will take you forever, right? And you must have done hard work, in quotes, but not smart work. What you have done in less than 2 minutes or 1 minute, to be honest, right? You have done it, you use weeks on this to get it done. That's not smart. Now, just as I said in Excel, there are multiple ways to do it, right? There are multiple ways to do it. But what I'll teach you today is the fastest way, the quickest way, the cleanest way to do it, right? And that's leveraging Flash Fill. Right? One of the, there's yeah. Let me just teach you the quickest way, to be honest. Instead of doing text column, right? Text column is a way to do it, but I'm going to use the fastest way. So the fastest way to do it, honestly, is to just do the first one. Just do the first one, right? Excel is very smart. Excel is very intuitive, right? So it copies your former action, right? So the first one, if I type Andre, so I want the first name separate, and I want Cooper next, right? That is his surname. Then I want his gender next, male. Then I want 45 years together. I want 45 years together as his age. Then I want his salary, which is $80,000. Guy is rich, right? So I've done his first name, his second name, surname, everything, right? So basically, I've told Excel, Excel is listening to me and saying, okay, I'm trying to understand what the guy is doing, right? He has done the first name, second name, this and that, right? So Excel will copy what you have done, right? So if I come under Andre and I press, let me type it here, Control plus E, right? Yeah. Right. So Control E is what we call Flash Fill, right? The other way is to Flash Fill, but if I press Control E, right, just under Andre, right, Excel has picked up that what I'm doing is first name, right? So I picked the first name from all the cells and they've done it for me. If I go to Cooper and I press Control E, same thing. It says, okay, I think Onyeka is trying to do this, right? So let me just follow him, right? Same thing for gender. I do Control E. It picks the gender from each of. I don't have to say anything or do anything. All I'm just doing is I did the first one and Excel with Control E. Excel just copies the pattern that I followed above. There's no formula. I don't type any formula. A formula is equals to, right? All I just did was using the power of Excel, Control E, right? And basically, I have separated all this text into multiple columns. Do you understand? Ajimo, everything can be found on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. If you subscribe, you will see it, right? It will be posted this evening. Do we understand? Are we together? Yay or nay? Can I get some feedback, please? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Please hold on. We're still trying to do it.
Okay. Ajumo, this is the YouTube channel. If you subscribe, you will see it this weekend. So I go back again. I said it's simple. All I just did was do the first one and press Control E, right? All I did was do the first one and press Control E, Control E. I can do it at once. I'm just doing this one by one so you can see it. Control E, Control and E, Control and E, and that's what it is. Right. So pretty much that's what text to column is. Simple, straightforward. This is actually not text to column, right? Text to column is a different ball game entirely, right? But I personally don't like it because there are certain limitations, and because we don't have time, I will not to delve into it, right? There are certain limitations that he has that this has. Doing this way is a far better method, and it gives you the answer in the way it's very customizable. That's the word. It's customizable, right? So yeah. So if you don't have any issues with this, we go to the next one, which is trim, right? Trim is if you have time, I'll come back and show you other ways to do text to column.
Sorry, please.
I'm not getting
For
it.
my column G, not everything, for all other column, for the amount, not everything appears to be correct. Like the second one for Daniel Garrett, it wasn't coming as expected. So I had dollars 14. That didn't come out as dollars 14,000 or 140,000. So what could have been the case?
So okay, that's one question. Shaitan said, "I'm not getting it. I think I missed the first step." Problem. Okay, now this I will answer both questions together, right? And I will answer both questions by doing it again, right? So you will not get the correct answer if what you have here is slightly different from what you write, right? So everything must be aligned. So the first thing I do is that I pretty much write what I want. Sorry. So I do the first one. So what I want is Andrew, right? So I want his first name. I come under Andrew, I press Control E. It fills up. The next one I do is Cooper, right? So it must be exact. So if it's capital letter, it must be in the. Not necessarily, but as much as possible, try and align it to what you have there, right? So I have Cooper. There's no space. Everything is the same. Underneath, I press Control E because Excel is following the same pattern that I have. The next one is male, right? So male, capital letter M. Under male, I press Control E. It fills this for me. Then next one is 45 space years, right? It must be years, not year, right? Exactly what is in that first cell, right? And I press Control E. It does this for me. The next one is 80,000, right? Now, if I put only 80,000, I don't put the dollar sign and I press Control E, right? Excel actually picks it for me, right? It actually picks it for me. But what I want is dollar sign 80,000, right? And yeah, pretty much does it for me. Do you get it now? Thank you, Moses. Got it now. Shaitan, do you get it now? And I think it was great to ask the question. Do you get it now? Pardon me.
No, I didn't get it. I didn't get the numbers for the figures. I didn't get it. It was scattered, kind of.
Oh, that's the first, to be honest. Maybe you can delete it and try again,
Sorry,
to be honest.
but I think what happened, the same thing happened to me. So I had to change this thing from just formerly I think it was in numbers or currency. So I changed it to general. If you change it to general, no specific format, then it will align.
Okay. So just change to general.
Okay.
Thank you for bringing that up. So moving very quickly, because we have two more things to cover, let's go to trim, right? And I'll come back to test column if we still have more questions. So the next thing is that now you may also get a data that's like this, right? Now, let me show you something, right? This is John Howard, right? This is John Howard. And please pardon me, it's John Howard. Okay, sorry. This is John Howard. Yeah, these two are John Howard, right? So if, for example, now let's say I write boy, please watch me. I write boy and I write boy, right? If I say equals to this, right? Basically, I'm saying that Excel is this boy the same thing as this boy, right? Excel telling me true because boy is boy. Do you understand? It's the same thing. But now, if I do the same thing I did for boy, if I do it for John Howard, look at John Howard, the same thing as John Howard, it gives me false. But they look the same way, right? Your head is covering what you are doing. Oh my God, is my head covering what I'm doing? You can move me around, you know. You can move me around. You can literally move my head around. Like I'm moving my head up and down, right? You can move me around, right? Am I covering for anybody else? No.
You are.
Yes. I am.
You are. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Pardon me. Let me try and recheck again. Am I covering it now?
No, we can see it now.
We can see it.
Okay, thank you.
Though the screen is very is smaller than what it was
It's not
before.
full screen.
Yeah.
Technology. Okay. So let me share this. Now, can you see it now?
Nice.
Better now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So now I said John Howard, right? They look the same, but Excel is telling me that they're not the same. Does anybody know why? They look the same. They look like John Howard, right? But the reason why they're not the same is, I mean, to you, it might not be a big deal. That's why data cleansing is very important. But like this small issue, this small thing that looks like not an issue, can cause you serious issue when you are doing some if or VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP, right? Because Excel is seeing these two things as two different things. This one and this one are not the same thing. Although they look like the same thing, they are different. So data cleansing is very important. This is, I mean, as you go ahead, I think in day 15 or something, you understand why cleaning your data as small as this matters a lot. John Howard, they look the same, but they're different. And the reason why they're different, let me show you. Now, if I double click on this, right, you can see John Howard, right? But you can see that if I can, let me see if I can make it bolder, right? Right. Now, if I double click on this, right, you see that there's a space after the Howard. And if I click on this, you see there's no space after the Howard, right? It may look as if there's nothing there, but there's a little space there. I put two spaces deliberately in front of this John Howard, right? And there's no space from the John Howard. I mean, it may look not like nothing, but for Excel, it's two different things, and it matters a lot, right? So cleaning your data, trimming your data is very important. What trim does is that trim helps you remove every space before or after, right? A character, right? So, for example, trim will not remove the space between John and Howard, but it will remove every space before Howard and after Howard and before John. So it makes your data, so you are confident and saying that you're confident to say that anytime you write John Howard or anywhere you see John Howard, it's actually John Howard. There's no space before, there's no space after. Right? If you see the General Motors, right, you can see there's space before, right? There's space before General Motors. If you come here, you can see it is very dirty, right? The data there are spaces in between everywhere, right? So what trim helps you to do is remove data spaces before and after a given set of characters, right? And yesterday, remember what I talked about syntax, right? If I put trim, TRIM, right? Trim. What is the syntax for trim? Based on what you're looking at, what is the syntax for trim?
The text you want to trim.
Text. Perfect. The text you want to trim. So if I want to trim this John Howard, this is my syntax. That's John Howard. I close it and I press enter. So it has trimmed John Howard. Do you understand? That's it. If I want to copy the formula, what I did above here, right? I can just come here and double click on it, right? So if you come here, the end of what I did, if I double click on this, right, it copies the formula downwards. So it has trimmed everything here. So it has trimmed John Howard, Scott Thompson, Jerry Malone, Chris, it has trimmed everybody's name. Do you understand? Right. The same thing, if I want to trim the company name, right, equals to trim and the text. The text is Tesla, right? That's the first one, right? And I can do it individually, or I can just come here to the edge. There's a black cross will appear. If I double click on this, it copies the formula across board, right? So this is data is stripped, right? So this is what I will use. I will not use this. This is unclean data. I will use this data, right? So what I will do is I will copy this data, right? And I will paste it special, right? And to paste special, let me put it there. It's Alt plus E plus S
Marathon.
Okay.
plus V, right? So to paste special is Alt ESV, right? So basically, if I paste this here, follow me. If I paste it here, right, you still have a different answer because it's copying the formula, right? I don't want the Excel to copy the formula. I want you to copy the trimmed value, only the trimmed value alone. Now, not the formula, but the trimmed value. So I copy it here, right? And when I'm pasting it, instead of just pressing Ctrl V to paste, I'll press Alt ESV. Alt ESV, and I will talk more about this later, right? Alt ESV, right? So this will paste it as values, right? So that's what I will do. I will copy this and paste it here, right? Are you on the same page? So I copy it,
Yes, sir.
and I paste it as values, right? So this is the value form, right? So I'm copying the value form and I'm bringing it here, right? Now, that is pretty much trim. So trim syntax is equals to trim text, as simple as that. Equals to trim text, as simple as that. Now, the last one for today is removing duplicates. Now, this you will know the importance of these little things that we are doing as we move forward, right? They will look very simple and not complicated at all. Excel is honestly not complicated. It is in application that it becomes like, have you ever gone for an exam or you gone for a class, right? In your class you had I mean, in the class they taught you very simple exam, 2 + 2, 3 + 3. Then when you went for the exam, you realize that it's the same 2 + 2, but now it's now expansive. It's the same thing with Excel, right? It's just having to know the basics and knowing how to layer it, right? I will come back to copy and paste again, but let's just do remove duplicate, and I'll come back to that, right? So now, another thing that we must note is, now we have a series of data, right? We have about 90, right? So we have 90 data, right? 90 set of data, or 86 rows of data, right? And we can begin doing analysis on this, right? This 86 rows of data, and start saying, oh, this, right? But before you get cracking into any form of analysis, before you start doing any form of analysis, the first thing that you must do, right, is that you must ensure that, number one, you trim your data. Number two, you check for any duplicate, right? Because it is repetitive. If you are doing some analysis and the data you have in number one, it seems you have in number 5, right? And you might not know using the common eye because they all look very different, right? If you see your eye alone, like, they are all different, and you just start analyzing. The first thing you must do is you must remove duplicates. But when you want to remove duplicates, right? Now, for example, right? Let me just use this as an example, right? If I put, okay, sorry. Let me see. Just follow me, please. Now, if I have this data, right? This data I have, right? Let me copy this, right? So now this person is the same thing, but the value is different, right? The value, this is not a duplicate for me because the sales value is different, right? It's not a duplicate for me, right? So you need to know what duplicate is for you, right? So for me, duplicate will be if everything here repeat themselves more than once. So if it's the same division, the same date, the same sales, the same region, everything is the same, that means it's a duplicate, right? So it must be a duplicate if it duplicates itself in every column. That's what I define as duplicate. In your own work, duplicate might mean something different, right? So to everybody, you have to be true to yourself. What is duplicate to you, right? But for me, duplicate is when everything repeats itself from division, dates, everything is the same. So how do I remove duplicates, right? First thing I do is I highlight everything. I highlight what I'm looking for. I mean, the table that I'm working with, right? To highlight it, just you can come to the table and just press Ctrl A. It highlights all the active cells. So just come anywhere in the table, press Ctrl A. It highlights the active cells, right? So now I know this is my table. What I'll do is I want to remove the duplicates in this table. What I do is I go to Data tab. If you can see where I'm highlighting my cursor, Data tab, right? Pardon me. I go to my Data tab. Under my Data tab, you see where you call Data Tools, right? Under my Data tab, you see where I have Data Tools here, right? Under Data Tools, there's a small X sign, right? in some people's own maybe a bit more visible. This is what I call remove duplicates, right? So if I highlight on it, you see remove duplicates, and there's an expression to it. It deletes rows from a sheet, right? Deletes duplicate rows from a sheet, right? So if I click on this, right, it will ask me to delete duplicate values. Select one or more columns that contain the duplicates, right? So as I said, for me, it is duplicate if it has the same division date. If everything is the same thing, it's duplicate, right? So, and I also selected that my table has headers. So it removed the headers. The headers is not part of what I'm looking for, right? So it's looking at the actual rows now, right? And it's saying that if I see the same division, the same date, the same sales agent, the same region, the same sales, I'm going to remove it. It's not going to tell you it is there. It's just going to remove it. So you have to be careful, right? If I click on this OK, you can see it found 35 duplicates. Only 51 unique values remain, right? 35 duplicates. So that means in this data that I was bragging to have, 35 of these things are duplicates, right? So if I was analyzing this data, I must have analyzed 35 of those data twice. I must have double counted 35 things, right? Do you understand? And imagine I'm calculating sales. I'll think my sales is higher than what it is, right? Because I have 35 duplicate rows. So if I click on OK, it will delete the duplicates, right? And what I will have now is 51 unique rows. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand? Are we good to
Yes. Yes. Can I just a little question?
Yes, please.
So there is a little stuff you did with the black cross. So I am wondering, apart from that copying down, repeating formulas down, does it apply to every other operations we do with that black cross? I mean, this is the first time I'm getting to see that.
Yes. So basically, the black cross just duplicates what you have above down, right? So for example, if I write 1, 2, 3, 4, right, and I want to drag it down, right, I just bring it there, right? It just replicates what I have above in the same logic, right? So the way I did equals to trim this, right? If I drag it down, it just copied the same logic across that I had in the first one. So basically,
Okay.
it just copies the logic in the above, right?
Yes,
And
but
yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
but in your usage, you just double clicked. So that double click, does it apply to
It's
to
the same
this?
thing.
Is it the same?
It's not the
Okay,
same thing.
okay,
Yeah, dragging
okay,
it,
okay,
double clicking, whatever.
okay,
It's not the same thing,
okay.
right?
Okay. Then you mentioned something again about paste special. You said that it does something to the value of the cell. There's something you said when you are copying it. You said there's something you said it does to the value of the cell.
So paste special, right? I said,
Yes.
and we'll still do it in more detail, right? If I copy this, I'm copying the formula, right? I'm copying the formula. But if I don't want the formula to show, I want only the value to show. That means I don't want this 2 plus 3 to show. All I want to see is just 5, right? I will paste special, right? And to paste special, I said, this is what you paste special here, right? So I
Yes.
copy
Yes.
what I want. Instead of just pressing Ctrl V, I press Alt ESV, right? And I press OK. And the paste special. You can see that there's no more formula here. It's just only the value that
Yes.
is here, right? So paste special
Yes.
removes paste special
The formula.
values. Now, paste special is broad, right? And I think I have a session on it. If not, maybe I'll do one, right? Paste special values just copies the values that you have in
Okay.
cell above, right?
All right.
I have a
Thank you.
question.
It's much
Yes,
clearer
go
now.
ahead.
Thank you.
You're welcome,
I have a
Elizabeth.
question. So I realized that my Excel from day 2, when we're trying to get a file, my Excel does not have PDF, like trying to get data from PDF.
Oh,
The
it
option
depends
is
on the Excel that you have, right? I mean,
okay.
I'm using Microsoft Excel 365, the latest version. So that's
Okay.
that's what I'm teaching with, right? I don't know if it's applicable in other versions, right? So I mean,
And also my computer doesn't have the Alt button. It's a
Alt.
MacBook. No.
Oh no, that's not. I will not have the Alt button. I mean, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not a computer person. So all I know is Excel. I don't know anything about computer. But I don't believe that it should be somewhere, right?
Do
Maybe
you
someone.
use a MacBook?
I don't use a MacBook. I'm not that rich. I'm still using
Can't find the
Windows.
pause button, I please.
Okay. I honestly, I don't know. I'm not. I don't want to. I will not be of too much help, right? So tomorrow we. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. Somebody has
I
answered.
think I'm still having a difficulty with that first one, the figure. That's because then it's not working for me.
Okay. We revisit it on day 10. So on day 10, I'm not teaching anything. I'm just going to answer questions from day 1 to
All
day
right.
9. Right.
Okay, that's
So
fine.
we've come to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for joining. Again, I'll repeat, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're not having live classes. The classes will be on YouTube channel, and I'm going to upload all the sessions as well, right, this weekend. Right. So please and please subscribe to the YouTube channel. 6 o'clock to 6:30, it will go live as well. Set areas variables. I'm not recording the sessions myself, to be honest, but I'm going to record it tomorrow. What is really cool. So I'm going to record Friday, Saturday, Sunday session. Make sure you join, right? Subscribe, and as I said, the only thing I get is that if I get feedback, so I would really love feedback. If you have feedback from the session, please send to me, right? So I know, like, okay, I'm doing better, or improve here. You are talking too fast, you are talking too slow, blah 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 blah. Right? It helps, right? It helps and makes it better. We are at day 5, and this is the end of the first week. I mean, I'm doing it. 5 days is a week for me, right? Not 7 days. Just the way I'm talking about it, right? So we are finished useful tips and tricks. We're going to data preparation from tomorrow, the 6th to the 10th, and we keep on going there. My YouTube channel link is in the mail I've sent multiple times. So if you just click on my picture in the mail I've sent, you will see it there, right? Or just check Onyeka Ogu on YouTube. And I've also put Onyeka Ogu, and I've also put the link on the chat room. Please make sure you subscribe, please and please and please. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow, 6 o'clock to 6:30 GMT. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
God bless you.